Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Pre-Market Prep. Spencer Israel. I got Joel here. I got Dennis here. Oh, but okay. Here are the things on the list today. We are going to have a little follow-through discussion of what we talked about yesterday with regards to China and with regards to Berkshire Hathaway. Oil is down again. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the airlines. We will talk about AMC. They did something that is so unusual and weird and random that I thought has to be fake. But no, it's real. It's real. We'll talk about that. We'll be joined by Scott Shellady, a.k.a. the Cow Guy, at 8:10, 9 minutes from now. Can't wait for that. So smash that like button, and here we go.
Coming to you live from downtown Detroit, this is Benzinga's Pre-Market Prep with your host, Joel Elconin.
This is a volatile puppy here, isn't it?
And Dennis Dick.
I'm bidding a penny. I will buy the stock for a penny.
With everything you need to start your trading day.
All right, good morning, guys. Joel, bring up those charts for me.
Sure.
And how we doing here overnight?
You know what, Spencer? Your intros have been so good lately.
Oh,
You get me so fired up for the show. I mean, you're doing a good job. I just want to give you. I know I pick on you a lot.
Compliments this morning.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like he's
Well,
funny. He's
something
a
is
funny
wrong.
guy.
Something
You
is
know.
wrong. Joel's in a
He
good
is a
mood.
funny
He's
guy.
being nice to me. Something is very wrong.
Yeah, I think so. Something's up there too.
All
If he
right,
starts
we're-
being nice to me, there's something very
Yeah,
wrong.
something very wrong. Or something nice to you.
We're up 5 3/4 handles here. It's 69 1/4. We went down and we kissed the low from last week. We just kissed it at 29.50 and then got a nice bounce. And we're still green, but it's a green. I don't know. It's just like so hard to trust it. It just seems like we always get back these gains.
Yeah.
Crude getting shellacked down 7.84 at 95.17. I guess people just noticed the contango in the markets and went out and hit the front month. Gold, that's going down too. That's down $33, 1927.90. Silver getting shellacked too. That's down 44 cents at 24.86. Bitcoin, I mean, I'm going to keep quoting it, but man, it's so quiet. Down 155 at 38,675. And Ethereum, it's flat. A buck up $1.50, 25, 32.50. Triple D.
Well,
I think that we got to start with AMC.
We got
I
it.
mean, yeah.
got
I
it.
mean, that
sure.
is
We have to.
the story of the day.
This is so strange. When I saw this in Benzinga Pro, I thought, there's no way that's real. Alas, I'm wrong. It is very, very real. If you want to play the metals trade, if you want to play commodities, you could buy the GLD, you could buy the SLV, buy the ETF, but allow me to give you a new idea here right now. You want to get a exposure to metals? Buy AMC. That's the news today. AMC, together with Eric Sprott, who's a well-known metals investor, they've invested $56 million for a 22% stake in Hycroft Mining Holding Corporation, ticker HYMC, Hotel, Yankee, Mary, Charlie. This is a company that has a 71,000-acre mine in northern Nevada that apparently has some gold and or silver within it. Here's the sentence that I want to read to you, the statement from AMC CEO Adam Aron in the press release this morning. To state the obvious, one would not normally think that a movie theater company's core competency includes gold or silver mining. In recent years, however, AMC Entertainment has had enormous success and demonstrated expertise in guiding a company with otherwise valuable assets through a time of severe liquidity challenge, the raising of capital, and strengthening of balance sheets, as well as communicating with individual retail investors. It is with all of that experience and skill that we bring to the table to assist the talented mining professionals at Hycroft. So yes, AMC, they do movies, they do popcorn, and now they do mining. Metals mining.
Go back. He's given himself way too much credit.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Because this was not his doing that. Oh yes, he was the one that got AMC to go to $70 a share, and it was all his great management that caused this to happen. That's not the case whatsoever. He lucked out that Reddit and Wall Street Bets and obviously everybody else just jacked his stock price, and then he was able to sell stock and put it on his own pocket because he sold half of his holdings. So I take great offense to him giving himself the credit for what Reddit did. So I think it's just I think it's disgusting, to be honest, that he credits himself with that. And then secondly, what the hell are they doing? I mean, they have no idea what they're doing. They don't know what to do with the money they got, because they got gifted a whole bunch of money from a lot of retail traders, and now they don't know what they're doing. So they're trying to diversify. Oh, let's get into a mining company. Let's buy a penny stock mining company. I mean,
I got a question though. He said,
if anything, this is just lost management. That's what I say. He's lost.
He said that investing in other companies, that they've guided other companies, is what I interpreted. I'd like to know those other companies that AMC is guided and advised and
communicating with retail investors with your pants off.
I was thinking about that too.
I think they're right. Giving this thing even airtime is not even worth it.
Okay, let's go.
Whatever. This was not, but I just want to say again, this was retail generated. This had nothing to do with the company management. The money that they have, the cushion that they have, is simply because retail gave them that cushion, and they chose to give them that cushion for a movement, not because of their great management. Next.
Wow, did not anticipate the vitriol.
HYMC, whatever. I mean, it's getting an infusion of capital here. It's a penny stock. We don't talk these stocks. It's going to get a pop. It's up. I don't know where. It's probably went higher than this. I sell pops and all this stuff.
I mean, this is really stupid, and we are going to move on to, and we're actually going to bring our guest on in a minute here. But can we appreciate the gumption though? I mean, this is the most ridiculous thing I've heard.
He doesn't know what he's doing
in a while.
He doesn't know what he's doing. He spent all that money on the Nicole Kidman commercial.
I know.
Trying to get the people back in. Oh, we'll make our own popcorn. They're lost. They have a big pile of cash that retail gave them. They don't know what to do with it. So they're like, well, we can't, movie theater. I don't know what else we can do with the movie theaters. Let's go and buy a mining company or invest in a mining company. Do some gold mining. Gold's hot right now. That's the buzzword of the day. Gold's getting hot again. Let's go buy a gold company.
Yeah.
Holy, this is piss poor management is what this is. Next,
actually, let's bring on our guest, Scott Shellady, aka the Cow Guy, who is a markets anchor for RFD TV. I see Scott here in the background. Let's get him on the show right now. And it's been a minute since we've spoken to Scott. We got a lot to get to. So, Scott, good morning, man. How's it going?
Good, guys. How are you?
Holy, the best dressed man right there. Always looking stylish.
Wait, Scott, I have a question. How many of those jackets do you have?
I mean, over the last 30 years, I've probably gone through 50 to 75. I give them away to, some places, I give them to guests. And so, yeah, I mean, I have probably about 5 to 10 made a year.
Okay. I knew there was more than one, though. That
awesome.
That was the trick. He's not just wearing the same jacket.
No, look at it. It looks brand new. So it's nice looking.
So, Scott, you have a pretty unique vantage point, I think, now into what is happening in the global commodities market, because you are a markets anchor, as I said, RFD TV. You're speaking to an audience of farmers, right, and people in the commodities land. So, what has that been like for you and for them over the past couple of months?
Well, actually, it's a new thing. I took since we last spoke. I took this job last June,
right?
And I took it because I could see, every now and again I do the right thing accidentally. With what was happening with inflation, what was happening with land prices, America's agricultural sector is probably the wealthiest, most underserved investing class in America. They're sitting on so much money, and even more so every day, that I thought I could bring my experience from working, in New York and Chicago and London to the airwaves here at RFD TV. Obviously, I have I started in agriculture, which gives me a little bit of legitimacy. But at the same time, these guys want to know everything about what you guys are talking about, right? They want to know what's going on with interest rates, the Fed, what's happening with inflation. They want to know stock tips. I mean, I get my phone and my email is just completely bogged down with people asking a lot of the questions about the things that you guys talk about every day.
That's interesting. So you are still doing the broad market thing. You're not just focused on commodities and
3 hours a day I'm focused on commodities, and 1 hour a day I do a show called the Cow Guy Close, and we go into I'll have a lot of guests on. We go into the Fed, we go into flattening of the curve, and it's been also I try to educate the customers because they're not used to a lot of the lingo that you guys use, but they're just as smart. They just have never heard it before, and it's gone great. It's fun. I mean, I really enjoy it. We still have a family farm too, but what's been happening with this food, which is obviously wheat, corn, and the likes, and fuel, which would be crude oil, those are right down the middle of the heart of the commodity sector. It's just been stupefying. I mean, it's unbelievable. And these folks are right in the center of it, whether they're sitting on a bunch of cotton fields in Texas with some oil rigs on them, or there's some farmers along I-80 and through Illinois and Iowa.
What do you make of this crude movement? I mean, it's just been incredible. We broke out and then it just got silly, going all the way to 130. And then 5 days later, we basically give the whole breakout rally back here now. I mean, we were in this, in this mode where it was like commodities were rallying, stocks were selling off. And now today it's just like everything was selling off. So it's hard to make, heads or tails of the next move than like what's happening tomorrow. So what do you make of the crude move?
I think the crude going up is justified. Going up like that is not justified. But ultimately, I think it will continue to have legs. We've also introduced a lot of new customers to the crude oil ETFs. And a lot of that really kind of got into the mix, and that really kind of distorted some of the pricing. So I say that with what we've gotten out there as far as this country and what's happening globally, crude will be supported. And then on top of that, you throw any geopolitical issues like we've got going on in Eastern Europe. Now, 130, maybe not, but in time, sure. But we went up way too fast, way too quickly, way too high, way too fast, and obviously we've come back off, and we're below $100. I think before I went on with you guys, but I think that it will still be there, and it's still going to be a story because we've had a shortage going into it slowly but surely. We were building up a shortage of obviously fossil fuels in this country, and then natural gas in this country. You saw Germany get rid of all their nuclear power. Germany, is beholden to Russia for a lot of what they got going on. Actually, Europe is. So it's going to be a story that's going to run. I think it will take a little while to get back to the old highs, though.
So we've pulled back significantly. Would you be a buyer crude here now then?
I don't think I'd sell it for sure. No, I think that you're going to – I mean, I like energy stocks because of it. I think that, I think crude – you could see, we could make another run of those highs. It's just going to be a longer trade. You might be able to make money faster elsewhere.
What about the other commodities?
Yeah, that's what I was going to go there next. Craziness is not limited to just one commodity. It's all of them, it seems like. So
yeah, I mean, lately the one that's been the gambling one, our little our Reddit meme stock has been wheat. That's gone up. That went up faster than crude oil. That's come crashing back down to earth too. But we still have a growing season to get through here in the States. We're very dry. We've got some tight supplies out there. We've got a big report at the end of this month about where the acreage is going to be and what we're going to be planting going forward. That's going to be a really big one. Obviously, we've got PPI out here and what the inflation story and the food story. I mean, there's an outside chance we have a recession and a food shortage. I mean, that's what we're looking at in the commodity sector. And I think that's why we've got a lot of eyeballs on what we talk about here because of both the food and fuel, and then throw in to the fact that I'm starting to bring these people around to the fact that we could see a couple of quarters of shrinkage here. The Atlanta Fed's just downgraded our growth to the first quarter to 0. Things aren't good, and watch that yield curve. I mean, 2s, 5s, and 10s. And so it's been a lot of fun to help get some people that really are interested in what you're having to say, but at the same time, they are right at the epicenter of the problem.
What about these farmers? I mean, to me, you're talking about a potential food shortage. I mean, to me, if I was a farmer, man, I'd be out there I'd be out there planting. I'd be taking advantage of it and trying to. I mean, obviously the weather conditions and everything that goes into it. But man, oh man, if prices like this may not never see prices like this again,
No,
and
yeah.
it could stick for like a year or two. So what? I mean, to me, that's they'd be out there, working more. Is that not the case? They're just going to sit with what they have, or is it the weather conditions and whatnot that will limit the supply?
Well, what's initially been the problem with supply is the fact that that energy issue that I spoke about earlier with natural gas. Natural gas is a big component of how to make fertilizer. So these guys can't find enough fertilizer. If they do, it's 300% higher than it was last year. You throw that in the mix, so you're not going to be able to put as much fertilizer down. What you can't put down, you had to absolutely pay through the nose for. And we've already got a drought going on in this country as it is. If that gets any worse, this gets really, really tight very, very quickly, and you're not going to have the crop that you thought you were going to have. Your inputs as an American farmer have gone through the roof, skyrocketed. So your seed, your fertilizer, obviously your fuel, because it takes a lot of gasoline going up and down those rows, has really gone through. So you need higher prices. I mean, there's a chance that they made more money last year than this year, because this year the inputs, because of inflation and because of the energy problem, have gone up so much more than they did at the beginning of last year, that even with the high prices, you might not have as good of a year this year than you did last year. So they need to make sure that their inputs are under control and we have a decent growing year. Yes, you're right. They are going to plant fence post to fence post, but we still have a weather issue with Mother Nature, and she's got to comply. If that doesn't happen, it's Katie by the door. I mean, it could get really, really ugly very quickly.
So just to be clear, from your point of view, are farmers and agricultural companies, are they actually coming out on top here, or is it kind of a push because you got rising prices but also rising input costs, so it all just evens out?
Yeah, you're reading me right. Last year, before the inflation issue with energy really started to take hold, we did see price increases, but you already had committed to your inputs, and they were lower, a lot lower. Now your inputs are somewhere up to between 300% and 400% more than you paid last year. So you're going to have to see a higher price for what you ultimately produce, whether that may be selling it at the Chicago Board of Trade or at your local grain elevator, and you're going to have to make sure that works out for you. And it won't be as good of a year with these prices where they are this year with their inputs this year as things were last year. Yes, they will make money, but not as much as they did last year because of the input prices. I can't stress to you enough about how much more expensive. I mean, on top of it, these you 10,000 acres or 12,000 acres, which is a very big farm, you have to have a big revolving line of credit at your banker to get a lot of that done, because it's such a cash intensive business. On top of it, we're going to raise interest rates on you a 1.5%, and you're already paying 3, maybe 4% interest on a $5-8 million revolving line of credit. So I mean, it's not just physical inputs; it can also be your financial inputs are all going up for these farmers this year. So it's really got to work out for them. I mean, they stand to make money this year, but not as much as last.
Well, let's take it back to the interest rate talk. We're going to see rates go up here pretty much imminently. I know there's been talk that we go 7 or 8 or 9 times. I've said on this show, I think we'll be challenged to go 3 in the current environment, like 3 rate hikes. What are your thoughts on the interest rate outlook?
Yeah, I'm on the same island you are, but there's not a lot of guys on that with us. That 7 of them means they raise every meeting. I think the Fed gets bailed out with a recession, which sounds horrible to say, but I think that if you see the economy slow dramatically, which I think it might, they're not going to be able to raise interest rates. Won't have to, because that won't solve inflation, because nobody's got any money to spend.
Right.
I mean, I think that's more of a chance than 7 interest rate hikes this year.
I mean, there's some demand destruction going to be happening here too. We've had some wealth destruction in the stock market, but when you've got oil prices and gas prices as high as they are, and like you're saying, input costs and across the board, just the cost of living higher, people have less money to spend. That's gotta hit the economy at some point in time.
It's already starting. I mean, but everywhere you turn, look, you go to the gas pump, they're taking money out of your pocket. You go to a restaurant, they're taking money out of your pocket. There's other things that aren't in the equation when it comes to inflation that they're taking money out of your pocket. Now they're going to raise interest rates and take more money out of your pocket. 3 months ago, you'd walk down the grocery store aisle and say to yourself, supply chains are pretty bad. I wonder what they're not going to have next week. Now you walk down that same aisle and think, I wonder what I can't afford next week.
Yeah.
Scott, you got to go, or do you got time for one more?
I got time for one more.
When we had you on last year, like us, you were a little bit, skeptical of the rally. It got to really levels beyond a lot of our expectations. Now we've come back down. I mean, is the bull broken? Is it going to be broken for a while, or are you trading range? Just try and give us your 12-month outlook, for the market.
Yeah, I think
With all these unknowns. I know it's a tough question.
No, but I think we're transitioning into it's broken's a strong word, but it's definitely going to be a long slog. And a technical correction of going sideways for a year would also be something pretty good. I think that it's going to be difficult if you believe what I've just said, that we're going to see some negative growth here. You're going to be raising interest rates on the consumer that's already having to pay more everywhere else. And by the way, a 1% interest rate rise isn't going to get it done when it comes to inflation. And I also think I'm fairly confident the Fed cannot surgically remove inflation without hurting the rest of the economy by raising interest rates. So have at it, boys, but you're not going to be able to just take out that one tumor and not have the rest of the body suffer. Yeah. I don't know why they think they can, but even if you raise them 1%, that's like a suitcase on the Queen Mary compared to what we're having as problems when it comes to the inflation issue. So if they really want to get rid of inflation, there's going to be a lot of collateral damage, and that collateral damage, I think, will be jobs. And once you put us in a situation where we've got stagnant to negative growth, higher unemployment, and inflation, that sounds a lot like stagflation to me. And
Yeah,
I think
it does.
Yeah, it's an ugly word.
And I think that's where we're headed.
All right, Scott Shellady, we love having you on, even if what you have to say is making us feel down. Hey, Scott Shellady, the cow guy, markets host for RFD TV. Scott, we'll love to have you back on again soon.
All right, man. Thanks.
Have a good one. Always a pleasure to talk to Scott. All right, let's move on here. Let's move to the disaster stock of the morning here, which is Coupa Software, COUP.
I love Super Mario Brothers.
And the earnings, the numbers from last quarter were fine, right? But the guidance was really, really, really bad.
Oh, look at this!
I'll tell you what they said. Coupa said that for the fiscal year 23, they expect earnings per share to be between 15 cents and 19 cents for the year. Analysts were looking for more like 73 cents. They guided revenues for the year again around $840 million. Analysts were looking for more like $880 million. This guidance also implies slower growth, obviously, and compressed margins. And the stock is down, 30% this morning?
It's a type of market where they want to knock a stock down 30% every day for whatever reason. And when you're the only stock reporting earnings, that spells trouble for you. So here you are, Coupa, COUP, down 27%. It's off the lows. That's the good news. Bad news is this is now, 85% off the all-time high, something like that. $377 to 65.
Yes.
I don't even know what to say on. There's so much destruction. And it just goes to show you that in the end, value matters. And people learn that the hard way if they've been holding for the last year on all of these ridiculously valued stocks. I mean, I learned it the hard way. 1999, 2000, it saved me a lot of money in the last year because I don't own anything. Maybe, I've nibbled into some stuff, but, very little stuff that's got PEs of 100 or trading, 10 or 15 times revenue. I mean, eventually it comes to roost that value matters, and there's no value until you're a lot lower in price. There's value somewhere. But, even if you're doing the math here, you're saying they're making 18, 19 cents for the year. I mean, okay, well, maybe projected out, eventually they make $1, let's say. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt a few years they go out $1. I mean, it would still be trading 65 times earnings. So at this price. So I don't know. It's tough to buy stuff that's got that, high valuation in this market. So does it bounce back? I mean, it can bounce back. Is it oversold? It was $250 3 months ago at 65. It's massively, epically oversold. I don't know where the bounce is. And if there is a bounce, I'd be selling the bounce. So, maybe it bounces here eventually, but am I going to try to call the bottom on something like this? People have been trying to call the bottom at 200, at 150, at 100. They'll try to call the bottom at 65 today. Somebody will eventually be right, and we'll hear about that person on Twitter nonstop because they'll let us know. But it's pure luck if you call the bottom on this thing and get it right.
What did you say when Spencer was there? You said did you love the Sutton Brothers? What was that you said?
Super Mario Brothers.
Super Mario Brothers. The Koopa Troopers.
Yeah. That's what I think of too when I look at this.
all
I think they took the name from
All
that.
right.
Okay.
All right. So Dennis is not trying to call a bottom. Either am I, but I will.
Go, Joel, go.
I mean, I don't know if you're going to see that pre-market low, 62.26. It just kind of feels like, it just kind of feels like, wow, someone's like, they're even nibbling now. Like the person that wanted to buy it like 70, they're like, oh my gosh, it's in the 63 handle. I don't know if they're short, if they have options or whatever, but I think someone's going to be bringing it in. I don't know if you're going to see that pre-market low. If you did, I was short, I'd be all over it. 62.26. That's $3 away. I don't know. It just feels like one of those days where, they do a little bit of an overshoot in the pre-market. We'll see what happens. Where there's resistance. And I mean, if you are crazy enough to, to try and buy this thing and it starts to pop, I'd just be throwing them out at like the half and whole numbers, like 66, 66 and a half, 67, 67 and a half. So that's it. That's all I got. The next monthly low doesn't come into 58 and change. I don't think we'll see that today.
All right, let's go to some stocks that actually are trading higher this morning.
Quite a bit. It's quite a bit trading higher.
Yeah. The airlines though is what I'm talking
about.
Is that off of the guidance from?
Yes. So
Delta said some numbers too, I believe.
Well, here's the thing: the major airliners this morning are speaking at a conference. I think it's a JP Morgan conference. So
yes,
I could be wrong. So a number of them have given guidance this morning. I'm going to start with Southwest Airlines. Sure. They had an 8K. It was out, I don't know, almost an hour ago right now. And they gave an upbeat. I guess they raised their operating revenue guidance. They said that their Q1 operating revenue for this quarter, if Q1 is going to be down 9 to 10% compared to 2019. But that number, that down 9 to 10% number, is better than the prior guide of down 10 to 15%. So they're increasing their operating revenue guidance for Q1. I believe Delta, that was for Southwest. Delta also gave guidance this morning. They also raised their March guidance. Who else came out and raised guidance this morning? I'm just going across the board. Did American raise? Yeah, they all basically came out and said the same thing. They all basically raised guidance for Q1. Obviously, we're not quite near 2019's levels or pre-COVID levels yet, but they all kind of said the same thing. Interesting that I think it was American that said they have no active oil hedges on, so they are fully exposed to daily fluctuations in the oil markets.
And oil is down here today. That's helping the airlines as well because oil is really getting hit hard here today. Washout central here. It's hard. I still find it hard to say, okay, I'm going to come in and buy the airlines now with, what I've been saying is I think people are going to have less money. So there's going to be less money for travel. I don't think the business traveler is coming back. And I don't think gas prices are going to go down as much as we'd hope. So the bull case for the airlines going forward, I don't think is that great. So I'd probably be selling the rally. They're all oversold too. I mean, everything is oversold. So they could bounce, and they're getting a nice bounce. Delta up 6%. It's a nice move. You get back up to this 34, 35. I mean, there's room to 36 or 37, but I don't know if you're going to get there. I think there's going to be bag holders coming in and probably hitting bids. So it's tough to get long this stuff on a bounce when there's so many bag holders overhead.
Yeah, you guys know I haven't been, bullish the airlines forever.
We don't like it.
Yeah, but just trying to give you some short-term direction here. What's going on? Like Delta, like they had that really bad day when it went to 34 and then bounced back down at off 30. Nice double bottom there. To me, if it holds 34, then give me a number between 34 and almost 36. So I think it's important to hold 34. And then that was a really bad 3 days. So, you're going to have to cut through some offers here. If I had to give a pie in the sky target, I'd say 35.87. That's your next daily high if you can hold 34. Spoos are ripping again.
PPI.
We just had people.
Oh,
A
I'm
little
sorry,
bit light.
Dennis.
A little bit light.
I
That's good
Sorry,
news.
Dennis.
I guess I should have warned you, but I didn't realize that
Fine.
this is gonna. I'm sorry.
Ping, 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 ping.
I'm sorry.
Ding. Sold. No,
Anyway,
actually, that was pretty wide.
PPI for February here, month over month, increased 0.8% versus a 0.9% estimate. If you take out food and energy, it only increased 0.2% versus a 0.6% estimate. So a little bit light on the PPI for February, I guess. And PPI is, again, producer price index. It just it says the prices, as opposed to CPI, which is what we're paying for stuff. PPI is what the producers are paying for their.
A little bit light.
Yeah.
So that's good news for the market. Not as hot a number as we've been getting.
Yeah.
So I know. So the market's massively oversold. We're so oversold. It can't come in here and start shorting stocks.
How do you square that circle, though? How do you square the circle of you say we're oversold, but and yet why on the other hand you say we can't really go higher? How can we go higher?
We can go higher.
All these.
Why did I say we can't go higher?
Not that we can't, but the characteristic that Scott was just on, and you've got stagflation. You've got right.
I don't see any reason to take I'm 47% cash in my long-term portfolio. I don't see this. We're going to rip right back to all-time highs type of market here. So I think we're going to be in a prolonged bear market. I don't think you're seeing a new high in 2022. I don't know. Nobody can project out to 2023. But, in the short run here, I think rallies are to be sold. So, but we're oversold. If you're coming in short in stocks now, you should have been short in stocks a month ago or 2 weeks ago or a week ago. We're so oversold. ARKK, going right back to the growth names, goes down 6% every day. It was $70 7 days ago. It's 52. There is stuff, that's just epically oversold. So we deserve to bounce eventually. We need a dead cat bounce. I don't think it's much more than that, though. I don't think it's I need to get invested right now, because I think you're going to bounce. I think you're going to sell off again.
I guess when I hear oversold, to me that implies that there's going to be a turn soon. Maybe that's
there will. Yeah, a short-term turn, though. That's the difference. So, and people, you're never going to get that bottom. Go right back to what Cameron was saying. You won't get that bottom until people are like, I can't do it anymore. If you're looking for bottoms, eventually China's going to have a bottom here. You want to talk about, people can't take it anymore. Alibaba, they can't take it anymore. Alibaba's down 25% in 3 days. And I'm not saying I'm coming in buying Chinese stocks, but this is what you need to see in the broad market to shake everyone out. I still get every single day, what are you buying? What are you buying? What are you buying? The FOMO's still there. So that's why I don't think we're at a bottom. But do we need to bounce? Yeah. I want to bounce to sell. And you know what? On the next bounce in emerging markets, I'm going to be selling. So, I'm selling into bounces in the long term. I've raised my cash from 35 to 47. So I did that on the last bounce. I'm going to probably do it again. I might go over 50. But the bounces, I'm not selling in the hole. I'm not, trying to trade from I'm just going to short stocks when we're, Alibaba, let's short it now at 75. No, you're going to get your head ripped off. There's going to be a vicious bounce in there. Go up 15% one day and you'll be like, what happened? So, it's a trader's market right now. Buying dips, selling rips, playing the chop. That's it. It's going to be lots more rips to sell. It's going to rip on this PPI number because we were talking, we've been talking about inflation being a major concern here, and you get a little bit of a light number, just a smidgen light. But that's good enough to give people an excuse to come back in, and the FOMO still exists.
And you've been saying it, but I think it was Cameron that actually put a number on it last week, Dennis. She said that from 2000, the dot-com peak to the bottom in 02. I think there was a couple times there where the Nasdaq went ripped like 40% higher, like in within that longer term downtrend.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There was 3 or 4. There's been some wicked bounces. There's wicked. The biggest rallies you will see are in bear markets.
Yep, that's
because
for sure.
you've always got shorts in there, and you've got people scrambling for cover.
Yep.
Always the biggest rallies you see, the little individual rallies, are wicked. So it's the same thing like when stocks are going straight up, it's wicked sell-offs. When stocks are going straight down, it's wicked rallies. It's just in reverse. So you're going to see these wicked rallies every once in a while too. But if you're trying to time the wicked rally, it's a tough game. So trend is still not your friend in anything right now. And I think, let's say, for instance, Apple, and I sold some of my Apple at 162 last week. It's 151. It's getting a little bouncy this morning. Still long Apple, just lightened up. But you get back to 160 in Apple, you don't think there's overhead supply? Lots of people saying, we're only 180 and going to lighten up here. So that's the problem, is there's so many people just looking to get their money back in everything now. It's a tough market to just call a bottom and say, is this the bottom? Is this the bottom? I don't think we've seen the bottom
This market's so schizophrenic,
headline driven.
Yeah, we're just not COVID concerns yesterday, right? In China and other places. Well, no COVID concerns with the airlines today, right? Everyone's going to be flying. And frankly, I don't think that that's our big problem. That's not what I'm concerned about. And I don't see how this market can have a sustained rally with the geopolitical tensions. Not that we can't have intermediate moves, but I think, we're on the precipice of something that, our country hasn't seen in 100 years, and it's not going to get resolved. Whatever headlines they want to put out there, talks or this, talks or that. I mean, yeah, and I'd like to see the volatility come down, and you have the daily ranges are coming down a little bit, but I'd really like to see them, instead of having these rips, I'd like it to be more of a grind, more of a, okay, buyers in there, I missed the bottom. Now it just feels like these rallies, these 2 quick rallies, they're just, the sellers try and selling on strength. It doesn't happen. Then they start selling into weakness, and, you get these big declines. So, just feels like there's a supply up top. There's sellers, right?
Yeah.
But when you fall, the buy, it's just I don't think we've broken the buy the dip, mentality. But a lot of people have gotten their fingers chopped off.
We haven't
a little
broken
bit
it though.
more.
People,
Yeah.
who have started trading in the last 2 to 3 years, and there's a lot of people that just opened up accounts during the pandemic, haven't seen this before, and they still are believers that AMC is coming back to $70 a share, that GME is going to be $350 a share again, that your whatever stock you want, Fastly, which it's unbelievable. It's $13 now, Fastly. I mean, we saw when Fastly went down for a day how messed up the internet was, Spencer. I mean, this is a company that actually does something very important, obviously, behind the scenes. The stock was an all-time high of $136. It's $13 bucks.
Yeah.
I mean, there is room for this thing to go to 15 or 16, and that would be a wicked little short squeeze. Is it going back to 130? Is it going up 1,000% from here? Tough. So I don't know where the bottom is. I'll say some of this stuff is way oversold, and there's going to be some people that make some money buying these stocks. I kind of wanted to buy Fastly at 19. I'm glad I didn't. It's 13. I kind of want to buy it at 13. But then you go and you look at the valuation, and you're like, well, it's still not cheap. People are saying, what the hell are you talking about? It's not cheap. What's a PE on Fastly? They don't think they make money. Do they?
It's affordable, I'll tell you that. $13.
It's a $13 stock. It's cheap relative to itself.
Is it
but
cheap?
is it still
No,
cheap?
they do not make money. To answer your question.
No, that's the problem. And then you got Berkshire Hathaway. That's completely forgiven of everything. I mean, it's, there's a bubble in this thing right now. Like, it's just ridiculous, to be honest. I went and looked at the holdings because people say do your homework. I mean, I went through the top, like, go through the holdings. It's kind of fun. Apple's the biggest holding by far, well over 40% of the holdings. Well, Berkshire Hathaway at all-time high. Their top holding down, what do we got? 150 from 180. So the top holding's down 20%, but no, we don't knock Berkshire Hathaway down for that. The next biggest holding looks like American Express. American Express has held up fairly well, but still 15% off the highs. Bank of America held up fairly well, but a good 20% off the highs. It's the third holding. Coca-Cola is about 5-6% off the highs. Those are top 5 holdings. You can go into like MCOs in there, and it's a pretty big holding. Well, it's significantly off the highs. Looks like 30% off the highs. So you're like, well, how is it holding up? It's holding up just because people are believers in Warren Buffett and he got some cash. It's not the NAV. I can tell you right now, the NAV is falling in this thing. But we know in a closed-end fund, it's not like an ETF. It doesn't have to follow the NAV. And because people are very confident that Warren's going to navigate this environment better than anyone else, and I believe that as well, they're willing to pay a premium for Berkshire Hathaway. I think the premium has just gotten to a point where people are hiding in there now. And I think if it really gets ugly, there'll be no place to hide.
I said it yesterday. I mean, it's the 4 pillars, right? It's the railroads, it's the utilities, it's the insurance, and it's Apple. And so yeah, a lot of the other stuff is in there that you just went through the other stocks, but those are small pieces of this company. And maybe you're right, but when people think value, they think Warren Buffett.
They do.
They think Berkshire, and so
if this was an ETF, if Berkshire was an ETF, it would be a lot lower. But it's not an ETF; it's a closed-end fund, so it's trading, on its own, just confidence, and it's always traded with a premium because of Warren Buffett. I believe at the end of the year, Berkshire traded with a 27% premium to its NAV. That premium has existed for a long time. I don't know when it is traded at a discount. Maybe it did in the financial crisis. I'm not sure, but it's been a long time since the Berkshire Hathaway's traded below its NAV because they give Buffett the benefit of the doubt, and they rightfully should. But I'm just saying there's been a lot of stocks he's been holding that have been killed, and it's at an all-time high, starting to not make a hell of a lot of sense.
Yeah.
No position.
Yeah, you're right. I'm not going to argue with it. I mean, you're right. All-time high. It's
the only thing.
An all-time high again when it is 40% Apple. I mean, it does make a lot of sense. You're right.
It does make a lot of sense.
Right.
And it's the only thing. Like if you look, what's at all-time highs now? Oil's not anymore. Oil's in a bear market, Joel.
You're right.
Oil is actually technically the way they define is so stupid. This down 20%. It's a stupid metric. But they say when you're down 20% from the highs, you're in a bear market. Does anybody really think oil is in a bear market right now? But technically speaking, by the definition of the textbook, they would say that oil is in a bear market because it's 20% off the highs, or at least close to it. So, I mean, There's not much holding up here at all-time highs anymore. So impressive, Warren, impressive. But there's definitely a bubble there, I believe, in Warren, even Berkshire Hathaway as well. I wouldn't be buying it here. But I said that yesterday.
I know.
And I was wrong. It didn't go down anyway. So.
I know, but you did short it. So
I tried shorting it, but I already covered it. I was like, well, it's not going down. I try, and then I get out. And then by the time I start the show, I don't have a position, so I can freely talk about it again. I did try to short it just a little, but I was just day trading it more than anything. So I'd have no
putting your money where your mouth is.
The only thing I'm long in a swing account is wheat. WEAT. It's the only swing long I've got on right now, and it's at the same price. And I'm not even sure about this. It's sitting there, and like I'm listening to Cow Guy here, and I'm like, yeah, wheat. I don't know. I'm trying it. I'm not a commodity trader. We'll see how we do with this one.
It's I'm gonna have to. It might be interesting to get Angie on with him. Because Angie she's not on the food shortage bandwagon. She's not. I had some discussions with her off air, so that might be a good debate. Get Angie and the Cow Guy on, but commodities in focus.
I think they're on the same side, Joel.
No, she does not think there's going to be a food shortage.
Oh no, he said that. I don't think he thinks that either. He said there was like a slight chance. I think that's a bit of alarmist.
I think food prices are going up. I don't
think he thinks that either. I know he said it, but
I think prices are going up.
I know, but he said slight chance. I think that's a bit of a hot take. I think that's a bit of an alarmist thing to say. I don't know. Whatever. Maybe he does think that. I don't know. Yeah, you're right. He did say it. While we were on with Scott, we got a headline out of Roblox. They gave some guidance today. They updated their daily active users for February. Said they had 55.1 million DAUs, up 28% year over year. They said that they gave February bookings, which was down 2 to 4% year over year, and they gave their February sales total. How does that make any sense? How can bookings be down 2 to 4%, but sales can be up 60% year over year? I don't know. How
this stock has been assassinated too. I haven't looked at it for a couple of days. It was like 45. I look now, it's 36. $140 a share back in November when we were all going to live in the metaverse, and now it's $36. That is just annihilation. It's way oversold. I am not coming in and shorting Roblox. I don't care. The valuation is probably still high, but I'm not coming in and shorting it today. I mean, it's $36. A week ago, it was 45. 2 weeks ago, it was, or 3 weeks ago, it was 60. A month and a half ago, it was 80. 3 months ago, it was $140. I mean, holy cow. Have they just murdered things? And this one's been murdered. This was a storied stock, a loved by retail. Man, that's the stuff that they have hurt the most. Eventually, it's going to be a bounce here, and it's going to be wicked. But it's probably going to be a bounce to be sold again, unfortunately. So I think it bounces eventually. I'm not going to be the hero and try to say it's today, even though I'd like to. We'll see what it does. Yesterday's low, it's trying to hold 36.33. It might take it out here in the next, just taking it out here right now.
It could also make the new low, undercut, and then,
I could undercut it and get back over it. I think
Yeah.
you can't get interested in this thing really until it's like back and holding over 40. So other than that, I think all this stuff, you kind of want to buy it. It's the natural human tendency to buy the stuff that's really got the crap kicked out of it. But at the end of the day, you often just get poop on your shoes when you do that.
I will say, you might have gotten everyone out of the pool that wants out, because you did 23 million on Thursday when you fell $3.
Blushing some people.
Yeah, and then it lightened up a little bit on Friday.
You want to get bullish this too. I kind of do too. I want to be the hero and call the bottom in Roblox.
Of course,
I kind of want to be the hero and do it too.
It's a.
Yeah,
I mean, can you have a more bullish looking chart? I mean, come on, you got to be a kid.
Look, we all want to be the
Turn it
person.
upside
JC
down,
would
man.
roll over.
We all want to be the
across the
person.
side of the face.
I was bearish. I was bearish here. I was bearish here. I was bearish here. I was bearish here.
We're allowed to get bullish.
I was
now.
bearish here.
We have been bearish this stock.
Now I'm bullish here. I'm bullish here.
We-
I mean, it's just contrarian. Good thing I don't trade the stock. But I'm just saying, big volume yesterday. I mean, people are like, sometimes just get me out today. I just don't want it on my portfolio anymore. So we'll
It's a
see.
good day for it to report some numbers, because right now they're kind of buying stuff this morning. They're kind of buying stuff. So overall market effects could actually cause the stock to rally today. I'm actually bullish Roblox right now. I'll say, if you're buying it here and trying to be a hero, stop yourself under give yourself at least $1. Give yourself like 35.5 or something.
Wow.
But again, dangerous. I'm not doing it with my money, but just on
You can
paper
do it
here,
with
I'm like,
your
I'll be
money.
a hero and try to say that it could bounce a little bit from here.
You know what? Because deep down, we all want to be the hero.
I want to be a hero.
That bought that, so we can say, hey, yeah, I bought AMD when it was at $1, down 97% from the all-time high in 2015.
I probably shorted it down there.
Yeah, we all want to be the hero to look back and say, yeah, I bought AMD at $1, and now it's 164. 100. Wait, no, it's
I don't want to talk about
no,
it.
103. Sorry,
I think
the all-time high is 164.
I'm just going to say this, even in the overall market. I don't know if I'm fading this rally today. I'm not feeling like you already have had a pretty good flush overnight. You got oil down significantly, which is going to help the bull case. And, you got the airline saying some good stuff. There's a lot of positive. The PPI wasn't that bad today. There's a lot of reasons that the market should be up a little bit today. I'm not saying the bottom is in. I'm just saying, I don't know if I'm selling. I was selling yesterday's rally. I was on the show even saying that. I don't know if I'm selling today's rally. I'll just say that.
Do you know what stock is about to fall out of the top 10 components?
What?
Take a guess. Stock everyone hates.
I would have to think about what is in the bottom of the top 10.
No. This thing was like
Facebook?
it was like 4. Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Holy gosh.
Wow.
Yep. It is now.
Oh.
It is now below Johnson & Johnson. At one point, it never was up there. I combined the Googles, but it was up there with Tesla. It was up there with Berkshire Hathaway.
Yeah.
And just like every day, it's just like it's gonna fall out. And you know who is trying to sneak in
Who's
here?
sneaking in?
Well, ExxonMobil's been on the charge lately.
Oh yeah, for sure.
JP Morgan's been slipping, Procter and Gamble, that's been
Did I get the
slipping.
Procter and Gamble right
You
or
did.
what?
You did.
A
You did.
162, and I said, look at the Clorox chart, and eventually this is what Procter and Gamble is going to look like, and it's down $20 from there in that last month since I said that. So I'm gonna pat myself on the back on that
You
one.
did.
I get a lot of crap wrong. I got that one right.
All right, good job, Dennis.
Nobody else wanted to pat me on the back on it. I got that one right.
And people mentioning this stock this morning, GTLB. This is what we're talking about. Stocks and downtrends can have huge rips on you. GitLab is ripping on you right now. They had earnings last night. The earnings were okay. The earnings were above estimates. Sales above estimates. Guidance was fine.
What's the symbol on this one?
GTLB. Huge downtrend, but ripping on you this morning. It's up 13.5% this morning.
I've never even traded this thing, I don't think.
Yeah.
What does this do?
It
came out in October.
Yeah, it's
not out that long.
It's like open source software, basically.
Hit $40. It hit it hit 40
already off the highs,
and then backed off to 35.5, but it's starting a little march again here. So I'm going to throw out that 40, and I'm going to go with 38. Do I have a date? Oh, the 40. Ooh, 40 is huge. 40.5 on your dailies. It's actually your 2 and 3 day high. 40.5, 40.65. So if you sneak over 40 there and you're thinking about 43.29. Take a look at 40.5. Where to buy this thing on a pullback? I don't know. I have absolutely no idea.
It's the exact same chart as Roblox. It's the exact same chart from 140 to like 35. That's the same chart. All this growthy, newer IPO stuff, all just marches together.
All right, let's do some ticker time here. We were asked about XBI earlier. Let's pull XBI up, and then we'll do.
Gosh, I bought some of this twice. Terrible.
You did?
Yeah, I've been buying because ETF, and I was like, I'm 50% cash. I better put some to work. Mistake. I bought some at like 100, and I bought some more at like 86, $80. I was like, this isn't working. So I don't know. You just look at, you think biotech is going away. I don't know. Maybe it is. But,
just hear nothing about biotech.
You're back to like 2016, 2017 levels. Like, I mean, we exploded and doubled in 2020 when everything doubled, and it's given it all back, complete round trip. And mistake. I mean, definitely, just trying to get a little bit more of my cash to work. And I was like, I'll go in ETF and get a little more exposure to biotech. And it's been a mistake. So
look
I don't
at Regeneron now. Look at Regeneron.
Well, remember, this is smaller stocks too. So Regeneron would be more of the IBB.
Okay.
So, and the IBB has done the same thing too. I mean, Moderna didn't help the IBB either because it became a huge part of it at the highs, and it's come off too. I don't know. I think long term, where we need drugs, aging population, whole arguments, everything. I mean, I don't think drugs are going away, but apparently the market does. So long term, I think you'd be okay, XBI, IBB, but I'll tell you, short term, not working.
The the pipeline was slowed down over the last couple of years because they were the FDA approvals and stuff. So you haven't and these companies, the longer it takes to get FDA approval, the more money they have to spend.
Yeah.
The more money they have to spend, the more cash they have to raise, the more they dilute the stock. So who was I talking to? I was talking to on last Wednesday's with Wedbush. I had David Niergarten on, and he thinks that in the second half of 22 this year, things are going to pick up from as far as FDA approvals. And he gave me a couple stocks to take a look at. I think, no, it wasn't that. I wish I would have had them in front of me, but I did an article on it if you're looking for some potential biotech
just been
stocks.
So many biotech stocks have just been annihilated too. I mean, they're growth, right? So they're small companies that a lot don't make money, and it's not the kind of stocks that people want to own right now.
Look at Biogen. Holy mackerel.
I know.
Boy, oh boy.
That's just and Gilead. I mean, these things are. What's the P on Biogen? It's like 6, I think. I'm not even joking. It's like 6 or 7. What's the P on BIIB?
Forward PE is it's 12.
Oh, it's 12. What's Gilead? 6? 7?
Probably like 6. 8.8. Higher than I would guess too.
These things are just dirt cheap, but they're just not loved. They're absolutely hated. I don't even know what to say. I own Biogen. I've had it in there a long time. I bought it. We know my cost base is $48. Starting to look like it might eventually get back there. Go up from being an 1,000% winner, Joel, to take it to a loser. That would be
I know.
impressive.
I got one of those.
Do you? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Peloton was that for you.
Yeah.
Where's Peloton? There was some love. Somebody gave it a buy rating overnight.
I can't even look at it.
What?
Somebody gave us a buy rating overnight.
Wait, so you're saying Peloton and Zoom got upgrades on the same day?
Zoom got an upgrade. Peloton, I believe, just got a buy rating, and I don't.
Yeah, Zoom got an upgrade from Benchmark to buy. They gave it a $124 price target.
Somebody's calling the bottom.
Peloton got an initiation at Outperform from Bernstein with a price target of 40. So it's going to double in the next 52 years.
Maybe if it gets taken over, but we saw how that worked. That was such a gift.
Yes, Joel. Yes, go back to HYMC. Tell me how we're doing. Yes.
Where's HYMC?
No. I'll just tell you, I can't even get on that Peloton anymore.
Oh,
I'd rather get on
You're
to
disgusted by it.
I can't. I just like want to puke all over it.
I'm gonna get a Peloton. I'm gonna buy it just off the Kijiji because they're like $500.
I got up at 5 this morning to go swimming because I don't even like that thing's there and I can work out. It's convenient. I'm like, I hate it. I'm gonna throw it out when Lisa goes out of town next time.
It's getting a nice bounce today. It's a 5%.
Yeah,
woohoo! It's a big winner for you today. And it just goes to show you when you get ridiculous rumors of a takeout, you gotta take the money and run. I was definitely, like I said, I think I had 500 people reach out to me to tell me how stupid I was to be bearish Peloton when it went from 25 to 35 on a ridiculous rumor. But nobody apologizes to me today when it's at 21, and I was absolutely right.
I'm sorry, Dennis.
Dennis, you gotta be.
You weren't on the other side. You don't have to apologize.
You get roasted on Twitter, man.
It's because I give opinions. You give an opinion and
stop
you say something
giving
bad
opinions.
about somebody's stock, and they hate.
Stop giving opinions.
2 minutes.
Stop giving opinions.
All right, 2 minutes left here. Mario asked, "What's going on with Amazon?" Not much. I think
Amazon.
I sold my Amazon. Where is it? I sold 3,100. Was it? What did I sell?
Yeah,
I sold half into 3,200 on the earnings, and then the other half I got out just under 3,000 in the after hours. It was like 29.80 or 29.90. It looks like a pretty good sale so far. A lot of people call me stupid on that one too. We'll see. I'm hoping to re-get it at 2,200. I want to re-get it where I originally bought it. Come on, 2,200. I'll buy Amazon.
I could get rid of this line here. The only thing I can say about this Amazon is you break out of a long consolidation like that. I mean, really long consolidation, and you break out to the downside. I mean, I don't know. And you know what's interesting too is that my buddy Jim, that day when it popped off earnings, and he was like, it should be the Jim Triple D sell signal, because he was like, what do you think? And I'm like, man, if this thing's got to get, if it can't get through 3,300, and it actually tested it, and he sold that day, and I know you sold that day too. Boy, those are some great sales. And now, I mean, where do you go on this? Where do you go on the monthly?
Here's the date. You just got to know June 3rd.
What's that?
That's a Friday. And as of the close on June 3rd, it's going to split.
Oh, yeah, but that split trick is not working when you got a World War, going on, and it's just inflation.
The run-ups and the splits. When's Google splitting?
Yeah, it just doesn't work. It's not working.
Off the top of my head, I don't know.
Yeah, that split trick.
July 15th is when
it's not working. It's not working. I mean, Google is This is the day that you talk about sell the freaking news.
So it worked for Apple and it worked for Tesla.
But what market environment were we in?
No. I'm not disagreeing.
Right.
If anything, I'm agreeing. I'm just saying it worked for the people that were first, but now the stragglers are coming through. Amazon, Google, it's not going to work for them.
Yeah.
So, Yep. Anyway, all right. It's 9 o'clock. We've covered a lot here.
We did. We did good.
We did good. Dennis, you're okay, man. Okay? You're okay.
Come on. Everyone said some.
I'm torn today.
If
That's-
Dennis
Someone
remembered-
said Dennis some love on Twitter today.
I'm bullish today. I said I wasn't selling this pop today.
if Dennis
I'll sell it
remembered
later
half of the
today,
nice things
probably.
people say to him, he wouldn't be this way. I'm convinced. You only remember the bad stuff. You gotta remember the good stuff too, man. That's the
And
trick.
you know what's weird is that like I follow Twitter. I don't follow that many people, and like Dennis says all these like strange things and like kind of out of nowhere. But I know exactly what he's talking about, and that's the scary thing. I'm like, oh god, I don't know. I hope I didn't
All
teach
right.
him that one. But all right, I'm gonna hop off and cover a few more stocks at PreMarket Prep Plus. Everyone, have a good day.
All righty, Dennis, catch you later as
Go
well.
get 'em.
Guys, we're going to hop. We're going to live trading with Benzinga, Ryan Zunaid, Aaron Bree. I will be joining at around 10 o'clock or so. We're just going to run through the market. We're going to talk more about this AMC thing, which is ridiculous that AMC would buy a gold mine, but it's 2022, so I guess that's okay. So smash that like button. Please remember all the information from our show is meant to be used as informational purposes, not for investing or trading advice. Hey, check out Benzinga Pro, pro.benzinga.com. Free 2-week trial, discount code in the description. Also, we're like 5 weeks away now from the Benzinga Cannabis Capital Conference, April 20th and 21st at the Fontainebleau in Miami Beach. Get a discount, 30% off using the code SHOWS30, bzcannabis.com. The link is up on the screen as I put it up on the screen right now. Well, there's the SHOWS30 code, bzcannabis.com to get your ticket to the Benzinga Cannabis Capital Conference. Thanks to our guest, Scott Shellady. Thanks to all of you in the chat. Thanks to all of you on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitch, Twitter, and even those of you watching us on LinkedIn. I'm going to hop. This stream will end and redirect over to live trading. Everyone have a good rest of your day. I will see you in like an hour or so. So stay green. Good luck at the open.